as much as possible. And then they'll recognize that, oh, this person, they think like me, they talk like me, they must like me. I like them, and I can trust them.
And that's the whole thing about there's Hippocrates. I guess that was the doctor, right? Hippocrates. Am I saying his name right? The Hippocratic Oath. He said there's 4 ways to treat a particular disease because of the 4 kinds of people. Sherry Tree in her bank technology talks about the 4 kind of people. DISC talks about the 4 kind of people. Any of these personality tests usually breaks people into 4 kinds of people. So here's the reality. You were having a conversation. There's a 1 in 25 chance, or a 25% chance we're talking to somebody who's just like us. Therefore, if they're not just like us, guess what we have to do? We have to be just like them. And since we're in the power position of having a conversation, controlling the conversation, they can't hear us because we're not speaking their language. 1 out of 4 people, you're going to speak their language. The other 3 are going to go, I don't quite get it. So this is back to the question, where does it go? How do we leave a presentation and somebody go, I can't even imagine how they're even selling that. And you walk away with them going, why don't they get it? Because there's not a connection. We have to listen, right? We got 2 ears, 1 mouth. We've all heard that. Listen twice as much as you talk. But in your last presentation, who did more of the talking? Which cake hole had more noise coming out of it? Yours or theirs? And if yours did, you were teaching. You're not paid to be a teacher. You're paid to do 2 things: find customers and build leaders. It's that simple. If it's simple to do, it's also easy not to do, right? Where did it go? Where did Christmas go? It's now the 28th. Where did Christmas go? Is it gone? Where's Easter at? Where's New Year's at? Where's your birthday at? If anybody has a birthday today, happy birthday. Where's your birthday at? Are you getting closer to it or are you farther away from it? Where'd your birthday go? Where's your anniversary at?
I think those things go back in the whole, in your value structure where they were before, unless you somehow modified it, something had some increasing value added to that item, that point of interest. But essentially, Christmas goes back into its place in your values hierarchy where it's been all the year before.
Yep. So Crystal's story that her dad said yesterday about the water, it stored in her memory. Why could she instantly recall that? Thank goodness, right? Thank goodness that we remember stuff.
Because her dad's important to her.
Her dad's important to her. Thank goodness you didn't have to learn how to get out of bed. Did your parents ever tell you they put you on a bed when you were a baby and you rolled off? Anybody ever have that happen? We put Mason in the middle of a big king bed. Hey, he was a baby and firstborn, right? Only child, first child, right? First time as parents, Michelle and I both. And we put Mason on the bed. And all of us, and thank goodness there's carpet was in our bedroom. This was the house that got destroyed by the hurricanes. And all of a sudden we hear this thud. And thank God Michelle didn't squish him to death when she picked him up. Right? The mom instinct comes in and wanting to hold him. Why does that memory show up for me? Mason doesn't remember it. He does not remember that. But we remember it. Why do we remember it? And it happened to him. He's the one that fell down. He was the one that was screaming and crying. And he was the one that, that loud scream where they go, they're crying and there's no sound coming out. It's like a jet engine getting ready to take off till they take that next breath. How come he can't remember it? Now, there's scientists that say and hypnotists that say we could go back to that moment. We can actually take you back into the womb. I get that. I get that. But my point is, why doesn't that show up in a conversation? Why does it show up for me in this conversation? Because I'm talking about things that we remember. Why would I remember that? 16 years ago, over 16 years ago, that happened. Why is it like it's yesterday? Because it's highly emotionally charged. Why did Crystal remember the story about her dad? Why did that sink in? Because her dad reminds her all the time about water. She reminded us that she drinks a gallon of water a day. It's this thing that's highly sensitive to us. It's something we highly own. It's something that we want to be a part of. It's something we're a part of whether we like it or not. How can you help your prospects become a part of a story they want to tell, but they don't know how to tell it? And that story is, I'm healthier, I'm better, I'm wealthier, I'm having more fun, I'm with a community of people I like. How do we get them to tell that story? Well, first of all, we got to be excited about telling the damn story ourselves. What is your story? Do you show up at a presentation like, hey, listen, let me tell you about this thing that I'm pretty sure might work sometime in the future, possibly. I'm sucking at it right now, but you should do it with me.
I think a lot of it has to do with transmitting permission, helping them have permission to have their dreams met.
Do I have your permission to help? Do I have your permission to make you feel a little bit uncomfortable? And do I have your permission to take you out of that uncomfortable feeling?
But I'm thinking, do I have the permission to encourage you to have permission to go after your dreams?
Exactly. So the permission to help is, can I help you take control, to give yourself permission to do that? Because their mom said they'll never amount to anything. Their dad said you'll never be tall enough, good enough. I wanted a boy, not a girl. Their coach said, I don't even know why you tried out for the team. They never got picked for basketball or baseball or kickball. My permission that I'm asking you is, can I help you own your story? Can we have a conversation that will allow you to break the old story, to give up the old story? Imagine if you showed up with everything that you owned. Imagine if you showed up with everything that you owned and you're about to get onto the spaceship to the new planet. And I told you, you got to leave all that behind. There'll be plenty of new stuff when you get there. This is all of everything I own. This is all of my memories that's in a knapsack, that's in a backpack, that's in a suitcase. And you want me to leave this? Are you coachable? Do I have your permission to help? Doing what you're doing is going to get you a little bit more of what you got. Are you willing to take a step to do something new? What we do in our profession is we're going to have people think something they've never thought before, which causes them to feel a way they've never felt before, and we're asking them to do something they've never done before, to produce a result they've never had before, have a result they've never had before by doing something they've never done, by thinking a way they never thought. It's going to cause them to feel like unbelievably they've never felt. That's a freaking recipe for disaster. It's why 98% of people fail at everything. Because nobody's working on, it's a freaking math problem. And who's dealing? So when you ask them and tell them to use your product, try your product, do they go on social media? Are we going to restructure the way they deal in social media, the places they go, the communities they hang out in? Can we take Google away from them? You want to know why your presentation leaves your prospect? It's a math problem. It's not because you're bad at what you do. You're brilliant at what you do. You're an amazing human being at what you do. It's a freaking math problem. It's 1 against 10,000 thoughts and ideas and Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat and all of this other stuff that causes them to go back into their hole, back into their value ladder. And our stuff was this little, what was that thing? That gnat that's flying around here called opportunity? Zzz. Let me send him an instant message. Zzz. I'm going to send him a private message on chat. Zzz. Are you the mosquito, or are you the mosquito repellent, the doubt repellent, the fear repellent? Have you found that issue that they need to get rid of? Have you found that problem? Nobody wants to admit they have problems. So you ask the simple question, hey, listen, would it be okay in the next 30 days that some of your issues went away? Some of the challenges you have in your life went away. There's something eating your lunch right now that's topic of life, that's keeping you awake at night. What's that thing that's keeping you awake at night right now, that if you could make it, wave the magic wand, make it go away, here's a bolt, make a magic wand, wave it, and it goes away, whoop-de-doo, and it's gone away in 30 days. What would that be? Geez, I don't know. You know what? You're like most of the successful people in our business. They didn't know either. So is it okay if we have a conversation to find out what's that thing that's causing you a little bit of stress in your day, stress in your life? Things that if you could make it, if you could just figure out what it is, maybe where's that little discomfort, that pain in your day? Could it be more money? Could it be more energy? Could it be a little bit of this, a little bit of that? What's the thing that you want more of, or you want less of in the next 30 days? I'm an expert at delivering those things to people, but you got to give me a clue. It's like a doctor. I'm not here to, I'm not going to give you a general antibiotic that's called fix doubt and fear. What's that thing that's eating your lunch right now that you really want to give it up? And if there's nothing you want to give up, then great. Our conversation is over. But if you're serious about making a change in the next 20, 30 days, I can help you. I've helped thousands of people. We just got to have a tough conversation, and the tough conversation is going to be on your side. Here's the great news. The tougher it is for you, the easier the solution is. I'm good that way. I can do that with you, but you've got to help me. You've got to be part of this. I can give you the absolute best answer that you're looking for the next 30-day solution. I don't know what's going to happen after that. We'll probably have to come up with another solution because you'll be in a new place. You'll have a new energy. You'll have a new life. You'll have a new understanding. You'll see things totally different, and the old plan won't work anymore. How many times have you tried the old plan and it didn't work? Hundreds. So we probably shouldn't do that again, should we? Are you serious about making the next 30 days your best 30 days in a long time? If you are, then we need to sit down and have a serious conversation. Are you ready to have a serious conversation? Because if you're not, then no worries. I'm ready. Great. I need to ask you 3 questions. Do I have your permission to help? Yes. Do I have your permission to make you feel a little bit uncomfortable? Yes. Can I take you out of that uncomfortable feeling? Yes. Where did your doubt go right now? Why are you believing in me all of a sudden? Why are we here right now? Why did I just get to ask you those 3 questions? The reason I want to know that is because I want you to think, I want you to tell me the first thing that's coming to you, because right now you're vulnerable and you're going to tell me the best truth right now. That's where we need to be at. Otherwise, if we let this thing drag on and on and on, you're going to have a conversation that you're going to be very good at hiding stuff. You've been good at hiding stuff for years, haven't you? You've been telling stories and covering up stories and covering up stories. We all have. It's everything. Everybody, one of us does that. But right now, if you're vulnerable enough, if you're willing to say, I want more, are you okay with being more and having more in the next 30 days? Who's going to be the person that's going to be most jealous of you in the next 30 days? Well, nobody. That's the first lie you're telling. If you got an extra $1,000, there's going to be people that are happy for you. But if you did that the month after that, what's going to change with that person? If you get an extra $300, $400, you probably won't tell anybody, would you? No, I wouldn't. We have to be stronger in our conversation. This isn't about our presentation. More conversation, less presentation. If we can't have a conversation to awaken them to their whys in a conversation that's real, that's raw, not me knowing everything and you not knowing anything, but listening and being able to adapt and adopt to that instant. Crystal came up with the story. Why was Crystal able to come up with a story about water and all of the water that we drink, all of the liquids that we drink? It's already been through 2 or 3 people. It triggered a story in her head. Why not in everybody else's head? Because that wasn't a story you heard. Where did it go? Where did their desire for success go? Same place Christmas went. Somebody told them that's no longer, we don't talk about Christmas now. There's some nut jobs out there that'll still say today, Merry Christmas. But don't they get this kind of off the side look? Merry Christmas. That was like 3 days ago.
With friends like the old stories I've been telling and believing myself all along, who needs enemas? I do.
At both ends. Does this make sense? Does this make sense? What are your thoughts? What are you getting from this?
Well, Sean, this kind of takes me back quite a ways to a memory of a class in the statistical thermodynamics where the professor was talking about 6-dimensional hyperspace and then stopped in the middle of it and erased the whole board and said, it's just all philosophy. Let's go have coffee. The point being is that you kind of did a mind-numbing thing here with this discussion. Thank you. That launched a lot of memories that were hidden back there that never really went anywhere, but it did manage to kind of evoke a term. Let's just coin it: emotional momentum. And I think people suffer from that. And you say, where does it go? Well, if people are holding on to certain thoughts and beliefs, as Bob said, that are holding them back, they have a negative emotional momentum. So we'll just attach a minus sign to that. Then you come along and you bring to them a possibility. So they get a momentary glimmer of hope, puts a little bit of positive momentum on that, but the negative momentum is still so powerful in the opposite direction that all you did was slow them down for a moment as they were heading that direction. So somewhere in there is a resonant frequency of hope that all of a sudden, when they feel it, it reverses that momentum for some period of time with the hope of getting what they want, which is basically what you're saying. You've got to find what that is, and you can't get into a Bob level drunk monkey conversation that delves deep into their soul and mind and causes them to puke up all the negative things that have ever infested their soul. Bob can do that. Most of us can't. That monkey, we're usually kicking the monkey out the door, whereas Bob is nurturing that sucker. But what I'm saying there is not everybody can do what you do, what Bob does, but what you can do, being a human, is you can actually listen. And it may take more than one conversation. You may have a conversation that you get nothing out of because you don't live in the space they live in. But if you talk in let's say, an emotionally positive form, not pushing them, not like one of the things I like that you've said many times is don't tell them how bad they are by telling them all the things that you've done. You're trying to find that resonant element of their memory, their soul, that will reverse that negative momentum for just a moment so they can get that feeling, because that's powerful. That's enough to pull them out of the descent into the depths of mediocrity just for a moment. And that feeling can amplify. And that's what your 3 questions do. So to answer your question, what I got out of it, that's what I got out of it. Thank you.
You're welcome. So here's the thing. I got a lot of visuals as Dana was having this awakening in conversation. Gravity of a planet, right? The moon is, suppose another planet comes by. Suppose Venus came by and goes, listen, I'd like the moon. I'd like to take the moon out of Earth's orbit. It would have to get close enough to pull it. And then would it get too close and the masses be too much that Earth would actually pull it in, and the pull of Earth on Venus would be so big that Venus couldn't take away the moon? That's this push and pull that we're doing constantly. How many of us, all of the people that watched the video I'm talking about last night, that joined into that orbit of, no, you're right, this company is no good, this thing is no good. Where were they floating aimlessly in space before? Or were they already being pulled in that direction and they needed somebody to swing through space and go, oh, I'm going to attach myself to you? Somebody like a Robert Hollis who's out there, who's got this high energy and the Hawaiian shirts and everything else that's become his mantra. Why do people get excited around him? You know, when Bob said earlier, the phrase stories tell, stories sell, facts tell, stories sell. Well, when we talk about selling, what does Zig Ziglar say sales is? A transference of enthusiasm. Right? My dad said, be a professional. Only sell them what they need to buy, what they want to buy. Don't sell them anything else, not a single thing more. We're all in sales. Are you a professional? As Dana's story revealed, sometimes it takes more than one conversation. So can you sell them in this conversation the next appointment? How many of you have one appointment with somebody and that's it? It's one call close. Good luck. One call close, one call and they're gone. I got them. Got them to do what? They're in. In what? If they're in, they can get out. Sales is a transference of enthusiasm, and you should sell them only what they're capable of buying and what they need at the moment. Maybe they need you to just be a frickin' friend.
Well, that's interesting, Sean, because when you mentioned Robert, you know, as you know, he's a pretty good friend of mine. But one of the things that he says, and it's very true, is it's just not your time. There's nothing wrong with our conversation. There's nothing emotionally impactful about a no. It's just not your time. So you've just made a friend. And I think BK Barreko's father used to say that as well. He said, if you can't make a sale, make a friend.
Yep.
And basically that says it's just not your time. Over time, they remember that statement. In their mind, they're now asking, when is my time? So guess what happens? The next time they talk to you, that question subliminally pops up. Is this my time? They have now been open because you were a friend. You had a conversation with them. You didn't push them. You didn't try to puke the features, advantages, and benefits of what you have all over them and then negify them. That's a Sean word. I just invented that, negify. To make them feel bad about not joining you or not buying your product. It's just not their time. And then eventually they will or they will not allow you the permission to help them. Anyway, that was kind of a feedback on what you were saying there.
I think there's one caveat to add to that, Dana, and that is if you go into the discussion without an expectation that they can rise to their need. It's like treating an adult like a child instead of expecting them to be an adult. So if you go into the prospecting communication without the belief that they can achieve the results that you're offering them, they may not accept it. But if you go in there not believing that they're really going to be able to take advantage of it, or they're not up to spec, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot right off the bat, because they're going to pick up on that. If they pick up on your intention, on your belief that they can benefit from your value, then you're at least at first base with them.
Yeah, and another concept that kind of pops into mind here, and this comes from many years back with a guy named Anthony Powell, but the idea there was relaxed intensity, but what it really was relaxed enthusiasm. In other words, you don't want to give them a sunburn from your enthusiasm about whatever it is you're trying to bring to them, but a relaxed enthusiasm is just enough sparkle to let them see that you're sincere and you're genuine, but you're also not pushy. And what all that does is down somewhere deep in their mind, they have all these electrochemical images that connect to bring forth the feelings that they somehow have suppressed or they live with, whatever it is. But those little things send sparks of hope and possibility because it's a positive enthusiasm at a level that is not overwhelming or alarming. You can call it a tactic, if you will, but what it really is respecting their space while at the same time making sure that you're on top of your game in the form of this enthusiasm that brings forward your genuine enthusiasm for what it is you're doing and what you believe is possible without telling them that they suck.
So Dana, you bring up a great point. My question is that as you're listening to people, how do you sit on the other side of that conversation? What does your face look like? How many of you are paying attention to this conversation at this moment? How many of you are nodding, right? You may be taking notes down, right? And that's okay. And you may be nodding going, oh, that's good. This is good stuff. Oh, this is good stuff. When you're in your presentation, when you're the teacher and the student, the prospect is having a conversation, you should be the student as well, which is why I sign a lot of my things, your friend and student. People are like, wait a minute, I'm paying you to mentor me. How are you my student? Because I need to pay attention every day to learn how to get better at teaching you, to mentoring you. How do you show up on the other side of that presentation? Are you smiling? You want to change the energy in your presentation? Smile. When Bob is laughing, can we tell he's laughing? When he starts to talk, can we tell he's laughing? Can we tell he's giggling? Does the pitch and the sound of his voice change when he comes on and he does that? Hey, y'all. When Crystal told the story about her dad's story where she could tell, oh my God, my dad tells me the same thing. This is crazy. Was her energy different? Where does it go? Your enthusiasm for the potential prospect, potential business partner sitting across from you, where does the enthusiasm go? Was it ever there? Some of you I've been blessed to sit down with and have lunch. Well, did I show up as like a sack of a mashed potato sandwich? Or was this, am I being me, this just bubbly little 5-year-old that just is loving life at this moment? Crystal, we've sat down and had dinner. What was your first impressions? If you can chat, I don't know what you might be in the middle of.
My first impression on you, Sean?
Yeah, when we first met, you heard a whole bunch of stories about me, but when you met, what was your first impression?
You're better in person. No, I don't know. I think you how do I explain? You portray yourself so open, like in camera, like right now through Zoom, that being with you was as if I've already known you for a long time.
Very cool. So folks, how many different people are you in your business? Do you have a presentation mode? Okay, let's get into presentation mode. I'm gonna get this person signed up. Can't make a sale, make a friend. What if we made a friend? If we made a friend, do you think we might make more sales? So that's the conversation for today. Where did Christmas go? Well, it didn't go anywhere. It's just not topic of mind. Where did success go? How long has success been a topic of mind for the potential business partner that you're going to have a conversation with, the prospect? When's the last time they sat down and had a conversation? They may have sat down. I love cold leads when you buy email lists. Back when I was doing that, I would love them because they'd get 4 or 5 calls. They now had somebody. I wouldn't call them right away. I'd wait a day. I'd wait 2 days to call them because I wanted to be a what's the word I'm looking for? A drastic comparison. Because they now know that when their phone rings, they haven't gotten ticked off enough to stop answering it. Yet when they pick up the phone and have a conversation with me, they can instantly, drastically, they have an immediate comparison to what they've been getting in phone calls, so that when they hear my voice, it sounds different. Where does the enthusiasm go? Is it ever gone? This meeting will be over here very shortly. Where did it go? Is it in your notebooks? Yeah, I made a recording of it. Do you watch the recordings? Maybe when I post them. Where does it go? What if that was one of the questions? Listen, let me ask you. The enthusiasm you want that's going to show up as you build the success, as you create your business, as you create the things you want in life, you achieve the goals you want in life, you'll be enthusiastic about that, won't you? Yes. Where has that gone? Where is it sitting now? Where is it stored? What rental facility is it stored in that maybe we could go find it and start this opportunity, this business, the best way for you with some enthusiasm? Where would we have to go find that? Oh my gosh, I don't know. When's the last time you were part of a winning team? Well, and you can go back to sports. You can go back to game nights with your family when your team won, when the girls versus boys won. When's the last time you were on a winning team? It's been years. Oh, and if you didn't know that, you think you're going to convert them in one conversation? It's been years since they've seen what winning looks like, felt like, sounded like. They can't even hear the community that you're a part of. They can't even hear the team that you're a part of because their enthusiasm got stuck on a shelf when they were 9 years old. You're not good enough. You're not tall enough. You're not strong enough. You're not pretty enough. Your hair's not the right color. You don't have the right accent. You've got too much of an accent. You're from the wrong country. You're living in the wrong place. Your family isn't, your mom and dad weren't rich. Your mom and dad didn't have good jobs. Your mom and dad, blah, blah, blah. Your grandparents, this. Where did it go? It's not gone. It's just we got to find it. That's why they call it prospecting. Looking for.
Well, I think you just put your finger on a metaphor that bears a lot of introspection, and that is winning. To what degree do we see ourselves as being part of a winning team? That's something that it just strikes me as people are constantly hungry for, without giving it really due inspection and thought and consideration, where it should be a part of their ongoing experience or not. But it just strikes me in this society, that's a huge hunger, and it's a leverage point for us in prospecting.
Huge.
It's amazing.
And it's going to get even stronger come January 1, right? For the next week or so. Everybody wanting to win at exercise, win at this, win at that. What if you let people track you on your journey, and on January 20th, you're still doing it and they're not? You think they might go, how do you find the strength to keep going? Maybe you'll find a tribe that way. Awesome sauce. Cool stuff. Thank you, everybody, for participating. Anybody want to share? What'd you learn? What'd you like? I know Dana already gave us a great insight. Anyone else want to give us some thoughts? where did the information go that I just shared with you? Did you already forget it? Where'd it go? All right, y'all. Appreciate you tons. Love you much. Tomorrow, same bad time, same bad channel, 8:30 Central Time. We'll have another misfit call with a pretty cool topic. At least I think they are. They're mine. And if there's something y'all want to ever talk about, send me a message. Put it in Telegram or Messenger, Facebook Messenger, and we'll come up with a topic, come up with a dialogue for around a topic that would be of value to you. Appreciate you much. I'm Sean Murphy, founder of Mental Profits. I'll see y'all where? At the next event. Till then, bye for now.